Forced diversity. I'm going to talk about forced diversity. Forced diversity is what these major studio companies do when they pull out their boards with demographics and pie charts and things like that. And they're like, how can we appeal to each demographic so we make the most amount of money? This is one thing, like with Star Wars, for example. I know people are like, we need to have inclusivity, but I'm going to tell you about the two different types, natural and unnatural. Star Wars, for example, I love The Force Awakens, but its casting is very studio, corporate, demographic, rule-abiding casting. The most appealable type of person is a white brunette person. That is what makes up the majority of movies, are white people with brunette hair. They appeal to the masses of the domestic box office the most because they're the most that exist. So that's why Rogue One, even though they're diverse, they have a white person with brunette hair. Force Awakens, white person with brunette hair. Even Solo, white person with brunette hair. But then you look at the poster for Force Awakens. You have the main white person with brunette hair. You have the old Han Solo. You have for the kids, you have BB-8. You have the minority audience because minorities extend from white to just black. Now their Asians are creeping in there because they're starting to fight for it. But there's no Indian person. There's no Native American person. It just depends on which group whines the longest to get their person up there. So everyone's like, oh, we're diverse. We just have a black person. Anyways, so you have Finn Black. Oscar Isaac fits the Hispanic audience. He kind of fits the all-abiding audience of what is Oscar Isaac really? He's like, oh, he's brown, so he could fit in. He could be anything. Pretty sure he's Guatemalan. Then you have, but that's unnatural studio's way of casting movies. That they look at demographics and they make sure to have all of them on a poster, but they do one thing that makes it obvious is they mention the fact that their movie is diverse. And that to me is what I don't like, because it's unnatural and you're just being manipulative. It's like going to church where they teach you all these moral things and tell you everybody loves you and tell you everything's going to be okay, but then they pass on a bucket for your money. It is fake morality just to... If it was a fashion trend that everyone in every movie had to be Japanese and that was morally correct, the studios would be like, exactly. Everybody in every movie has to be Japanese because that's what the audience wants. They have no morality. Then you have why less diversity never existed before is because you need the white brunette person in the centerfold of the screen. That's the type of person that gets the most butts and seats for relatability for the majority of the domestic audience. That's why studios turn down scripts because scripts that don't have that. So that's why smaller, more indie companies are more diverse because they're more naturally diverse because they don't think, oh, how can we get the most different types of races and demographic filling personas on the screen? How can we make sure that people don't get up there by their own merit, by how they look? But then you have someone like the smaller companies like Blumhouse and A24. Jordan Peele wrote a story and then the characters come into play. He didn't make a story about a black guy and a white girl because he was trying to fit the demographics. That was the story. That wasn't the casting. It wasn't casting that could be played by any role. Like Star Wars, everyone in that cast could be white. Everyone in the cast could be black. They could be anything because the race doesn't matter. That's why they're picked to look a certain way to fit a pie chart. Jordan Peterson, not Jordan Peterson. Is that what I've been saying? Jordan Peele. He has, and obviously the black cast and his white cast for the movie Get Out because it fits the story. It is natural. It is done naturally. If you have more indie people to make stories and you go for stories that don't always have the white brunette as a lead and you don't think at all about the pie chart, you will naturally get a more diverse looking film.